Hey, what's up everybody? This is Austin with Momentum Digital. Today I'm going to show you how I edit a portrait in Lightroom. Couple easy steps, things that I've learned, knowledge that I've accrued over the past couple of months just watching YouTube tutorials and stuff like that online. So I figured, hey, I'll make one, I'll give back, help out some people that may need it down the road. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. All right, we've got a picture of our beautiful model Brigitte here. So Brigitte, first I would definitely just start off by cropping the image. So depending on what size we need it for, maybe we'll just bring it in here a little bit, get rid of some of the dead space around her. First things first, I'm gonna take the exposure up just a tad bit, just so we can see all her features. Contrast, I'm gonna leave it how it is. White balance, I'm going to keep it right there. I think it looks pretty good. Actually, you know what? I may just make it a tad bit warmer. All right. Highlights look pretty good. Shadows, I'm going to bring those shadows up just a little bit so none of the details are lost in her hair there. That looks pretty good to me. Blacks, I'm just going to deepen those blacks just a tad bit. So for clarity, I normally don't like to do too much with that. I'm going to just pop it up just a tad. Vibrance the same. Saturation I'm going to leave alone. Okay, and I'm sure many of you guys know from watching, online tutorials or whatever. Everybody likes to put a little S curve in their photography. So what that looks like, we're just going to add a little point here, a little point here. We're going to pop those highlights up just a tad bit and bring those shadows down. It's a little too much. Cool. And then a lot of people like to put this little tail here that just kind of softens the blacks a little bit, gives it kind of like a vintage, old-timey look. Yeah, let's bring that down. Cool. So let's get down here to sharpening. So this is an important tip that I learned not too long ago. So if you hold down Alt or Option here, and then you select masking, so that's going to create this white. And then if you drag that scale to the right, it's going to refine what ultimately ends up being sharpened. So normally I just like to pick out the details. You don't want to go too broad here because that's going to sharpen everything. We just basically want to highlight the eyes, the lips, the hair. All right, and then we'll just pop that sharpening up just a little bit. As you can see in our preview here, we just want to make sure those eyes are nice and sharp. And then you can adjust the radius and the detail, which will further sharpen those. All right, so I just click on these. I can get into that later, and then since it's a portrait, we're just gonna add a little bit of vignette here, and then feather that out so it's not too obvious. Cool. And then last but not least, we'll just pop those blues down a little bit into the teal, give it that Hollywood kind of teal and orange look that everybody's so crazy about these days, and just pop that dehaze. All right, cool. So we've got the global adjustments down. Now we can go start to do some local adjustments. That means, stuff like the softening or the brushes, spot removal, anything like that. So let's zoom in here. And if you're unaware, you can get different zoom lengths by clicking up here on your navigator. So if I wanted to get a little bit closer, then I hit a 3:1 aspect ratio, or I can go out a little bit further with the 2:1. So for this one, I think a 1:1 would be fine. It looks good. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do, I see a little bit of, some random white fuzzies in here. We're gonna take this spot removal or healer. We'll go into heal, feather, opacity, looks good. Maybe just drop that feather down just a little bit. And I'm just gonna get rid of any kind of, white little fuzzies around here that might be obvious. And then as you know, you can always hit that forward slash, or is it backslash? No, it's a backslash. Hit that backslash button right above your enter key if you're a Mac user, and you can take it back to see what it used to look like. Looks like, yeah, we got rid of some of those fuzzies there. All right, so let's hop back in here to the face, and then we'll start really going over what this tutorial is all about. So Brigitte has, you know, obviously beautiful features, not really any blemishes. I think what I will try to do is just get a little bit of this hair out of her face. So I'm gonna go really close and get like a 2-to-1 ratio, get right in there, and start kind of going over some of these areas. And as you can see, if you don't like it for whatever reason, you can just hit Command Z. Everything looks pretty good. Like I said, the software is pretty intuitive, so for the most part it should be pretty good about taking most of these little hairs out here. If there's ever a problem, we'll just go through and redo it. Decrease the size of my brush here. Don't want too much. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. That might be a tricky one. See what happens. Cool, so we got those hairs out of her face for the most part. Go back up here to 1-to-1 ratio. So now I'm gonna take this brush, and they have a few presets right under here. If you see that effect, and then you can go into soften skin. They've got dodge and burn, obviously. They've got some presets for iris enhance. So we're gonna use all of those, but first I'm gonna start with soften skin. And if you go down here, you can see that the clarity's turned all the way down. The sharpness is turned up a little bit. Feather is about 61. Let's crank that up just a tad bit. And flow, we'll also crank that up. So she's already got pretty good skin, so I'm not going to take the clarity, I'm not going to go crazy with the clarity, the smoothness. Then it gives it kind of like a plasticky, almost like too photoshopped, you know. I don't like, not for this particular portrait here. So and then we're going to toggle O so we can see what we're doing here, and then I'm just gonna go over all the parts that I want softened. Excuse me. All the parts that I want softened. It looks like she's getting a sunburn rather, but that is just so you know what parts you've already gone over. So I'm just gonna try to hit all these little Alright, so now that we're all done there, we'll hit O to toggle that mask back off. Let's see what we did there. Yeah. So you can see it smooths out a little bit. Maybe I might just highlight that, go back in there. Let's see. I'll bring that clarity down just a little bit. Pretty much all the way, rather. Cool. I like it. I think that you know, it smooths her out just a little bit without being overly dramatic. Like I said, she's already got pretty good skin, actually great skin, I should say. The next thing I want to do is just brighten up those eyes a little bit. So we're going to go back into our brush, and then we'll select Iris Enhance. And I think for this preset, you know, it bumps the exposure, clarity just a little bit, and then the saturation. I think I might just bump the highlights a little bit, so they're nice and bright. Her hat's kind of shadowing her eyes, so we just want to make sure those are super bright and visible. So once again, we have O toggled on so we can see the overlay. All right. Hit O to see what we've done there. Ooh, there we go. Cool, so you can see the difference there. Just kind of brighten them up just a little bit. Here. Now you don't see the red because I don't have O toggled on. If I did hit O, then you would see that. Awesome. So maybe I might just bump that exposure just a little bit more. I don't want her to look like her eyes are glowing by any means. Oh, come on. So hit done and then zoom out. Yeah, they're a little glowy. I don't know. Let's go back in here, select that, and then just bring that exposure back down just a tad. Cool. And I will get the saturation up. Alrighty. I think that looks nice. You know, her eyes are a little bit more visible. Once again, hit backslash to see what we've done here. Okay. Beautiful. Alrighty. So after that, you're pretty much done. You can take away any other additional blemishes that you might see. Yeah, so anyway, I like to leave most of the freckles and stuff. Maybe I'll just take like the healing brush, go down here, take the opacity down, because for the most part, it's nothing too egregious down here. Maybe just a couple of these blemishes. Take those out. Cool. And then the last thing I want to do is just pop that pop those shadows just a little bit more. Take them all the way up. There you go. All right, guys, I hope you like those couple tips. I know I'll try to make it shorter next time. People's attention spans are probably worse than mine. Anyway, stay tuned for more informative tips, tricks, and all sorts of goodies here on our channel. Momentum Digital, this is Austin. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.